Bernard, the central bank does not operate in vacuum. It operates on the basis of the provisions of our constitution and an act establishing it. And there are other, financial laws and regulations that basically regulate what they do. Now, before I make a further comment, let me point you in the direction of the provisions of the Constitution on the central bank. And the idea that is often bandied about that, oh, the central bank is just independent in theory. No, the Constitution has given the authority to have the independence of mind and thought to act for and in the best interest of the people of Ghana. If you cannot assert that independence, then you are not fit for purpose. Because, Bernard, if you go to the Article 1A3 of the Constitution, the central bank is said to be Clause 1. The Bank of Ghana shall be the central bank of Ghana and shall be the only authority to issue the currency of Ghana. Then 2 says the Bank of Ghana shall, A, promote and maintain the stability of the currency and direct and regulate the currency system in the interest, Bernard, in the interest of the economic progress of Ghana. That is a charge imposed on them by the Constitution. Then B says, the sole custodian of state funds of Ghana, both in and outside Ghana, and may, by notice published in the Gazette, authorize any other person or authority to act as a custodian of any such fund as may be specified in the notice. C says, encourage and promote economic development and the efficient utilization of the resources of Ghana through effective and efficient operation of a banking and credit system in Ghana. And D says, do all other things not inconsistent with this article or as may be prescribed by law. Now, if you go to Clause 3, the Constitution says the governor of the Bank of Ghana shall, for the purposes of this article, disallow any transaction or transfer involving directly or indirectly any foreign exchange, whether in or outside Ghana, which is contrary to law. 4 says the following shall apply to the Bank of Ghana. And this is where we talk about his benefits and all other things and his appointment. It says he shall be appointed by the president acting in consultation with the Council of State for periods of 4 years each. So it is uninterrupted. You cannot interrupt it. Now it goes on to say, B, he shall, notwithstanding Article 285 of this Constitution, be the chairman of the governing body of the Bank of Ghana. So he is the policy head, right, running the institution. He is also made the chairman of the governing body. So,
but where is what I wanted to find out is there? Where is the independence clause?
That's what I'm taking. I'm reading all. It's a brief, provision, but I'm reading all of it so that you know exactly the job they are supposed to do. The final one, the C says, his emolument shall not be reduced while he continues to hold office as governor. So we pay them more. And then finally, he shall not be removed from office except on the same grounds and in the same manner as a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, other than the Chief Justice, may be removed.
Okay.
So you see, the framers of the Constitution were able to see into the future that we will come to a point where the government of the day will want to rattle the central bank and its bosses into submission. And so they enshrined into this Constitution robust provisions as to protect the independence of the central bank boss. So you cannot just get up and say, oh, I don't like you, Mr. Addison. I want to remove you from office. There are stated procedures that you have to go through. So when people say...
Yeah, but the question I wanted to clarify is, so what you've posted, you've spoken about their responsibility, and then you've spoken about security of tenure. Yesterday, we had a discussion about DACF and local government ministry. And we're talking about independence. All right. Now, maybe we should go to the Bank of Ghana Act, which will then operationalize So what you've spoken about is what they are supposed to do. My question is, how are they supposed to do it? So what is the prescription by the Bank of Ghana Act in terms of how they conduct monetary policy? Must they keep an eye on the fiscal side? Right? So this is now a question of economics. I'm saying this because you see, what you read is about their ultimate responsibility and the fact that they are protected like judges are protected. But the process, you see, I'm saying this because there's a school of thought, and this is an economist who said this. Says the economy is made up of two agents, right? So just hear me out before you come back to the law. The currency issuer and the currency users. The government of Ghana, through the Bank of Ghana, is the currency issuer, right? Nobody can issue currency except the BOG. The implication of standard accounting metrics like liquidity and solvency ratios on the currency issuer, being the Bank of Ghana, are not the same as the currency users, banks and other businesses. A central bank's mandate is not to make profits, thereby increasing its equity, right? So this is a reference to negative equity. If the BOG needs to operate under the negative equity to keep the economy stable and create fiscal space for growth and employment, so be it. Emphasis mine. This person says, if the BOG needs to operate under negative equity, which is the situation they have now, to keep the economy stable, which is what they claim they were doing, and create fiscal space for growth and employment, so be it. The central bank does not need to balance its books to meet its core mandate. This comment is in no way holding brief for the incompetence we have seen under this government. So let's separate the understanding of their mandate from collective blame for the state of the economy. So this school of thought is saying that if you look at their financials and say they've made a loss, and therefore that means that they are being poorly run, you may be making a mistake, because if the bank's decision to give government money can be proved to have been necessary to stabilize the economy, they can then, because don't forget, when you read the mandate, that's why I said if you go to the BOG Act, the stable prices, stable exchange rates, and stability, it can be, you can, if you sit before a judge and you say, I'm supposed to give you money, because if I don't give you the money, the economy will collapse. It may have to be a question of proof. Do you get me? So it's a nuanced discussion that I feel we need to approach from the basis of why did they give them money, and which is why I come up to the parliamentary approval. That whatever you say you want to do, if you go through parliament, you are safe. But if you decide to do it on your own, because parliament can then say, based on the way we assess the situation, this amount that government needs is not necessary. But if you on your own do it, then you are on your own.
Bernard.
But I feel like the point that this person is making should not be forgotten.
Bernard, you see, I have not discounted the provisions of the Bank of Ghana Act. As a matter of law, the Constitution is supreme. And it is only the ego of the Constitution that matters. No other ego matters. And no other law can contradict the Constitution. And where there is that inconsistency, that law will be struck down as unconstitutional. The Constitution has laid down a broad framework as to what the central bank should do. Now, on the basis,
yeah, but it didn't say, you see, Sky, I'm not bringing the Bank of Ghana Act to contradict the Constitution. I am saying that the Constitution tells us what they should do and how they are protected. And I'm saying that to make it rounded, you need to tell us how they are to do it. So that's why you can pass a bill and then you give the guidelines. So my point is that so don't misconstrue. I'm not saying that the BOG Act contradicts the Constitution. I am saying that what is the how? What is the how of how they're supposed to do what they do?
Okay, let me develop my point.
Yes.
The point I'm making is that in order to give effect to its mandate, in order to respect the tenets of the Constitution, what the framers intended, the BOG must run itself and the financial space that falls within their mandate to the glory of God. The question that I want you to answer is whether, on the evidence that what we have of what we have seen over the past 7 or 8 years, or even 16 years, the central bank has been able to live up to its responsibility. First of all, before the 2016 elections, we saw massive indiscipline in the financial fiscal space of this country. There was the DKM scandal. People lost all kinds of money. I sat here in the chair that you were sitting in, called up a regulator at the central bank, and put critical questions to him. At some point, he got angry that he was going to...
Head of banking supervision.
Exactly. I pinned him down because it was obvious that the central bank was not performing the task that it was
This
given.
was in relation to the 2017 financial crisis.
It must have been the day before it was surrounding the DKM matter.
So it was around and then also when the banks collapsed, I think you were asking a question about...
No, at that time I had left the jurisdiction.
So this was I was just preview 2016.
Yeah, that's
okay,
right,
then
that's
it's
right.
different.
You understand?
I remember this.
And it was obvious that the central bank was either acquiescing...
Yes, DKM.
Yeah, or was simply looking away and was not acting as to protect the interests of Ghanaians. Fast forward. Then we saw the gold for money scandal, or whatever you call it, the number one.
Yes,
Men's gold.
Exactly. The central bank sat down. All kinds of things were done. Statements were just issued left, right, and center, warning Ghanaians, don't do this, don't do that. But beyond that, no concrete action was taken as to protect Ghanaians in this country. The central bank sat down, and people lost millions of Ghana cedis as a result of that. We have heard reports of people harming themselves because of the losses that they had incurred in this country. Yet, nothing happened to anybody at the central bank. In which country do you sit down and operate like Chamberlain? You see no wrong, you do no wrong, you just see the thing. The only time you act is to issue a statement complaining about one thing or the other. The mess still smells in front of you. Then the banking disaster happens. Reports go to the central bank all the time about how the various banks operate in this country. They are supposed to be the regulator. They are looking into the books. They are looking at the conduct of the various people managing the banks we have in this country. Yet our central bank and the people managing it sat at the high streets there, their offices there, watched the banking sector to go into a tailspin. A major crisis naturally undermined the economy of this country. That we, the people of Ghana, are having to be called upon to pay for. Because how much did we spend on the banking sector crisis?
The losses that they incurred are like 3 times the amount because they said they spent 20 billion. Now they lost about 3 times the amount they spent on the
Some accounts said 20, others 20. So
but
let's
so
say
their loss is 60 billion. So,
yeah,
like
so
3
that's
times
about
the amount they
3 times
spent.
the amount they spent.
So as a regulator who received consistent reports from the various banks, you sat down, you looked at this report, you gave money out to them to go and protect, to keep, all kinds of money were given to them, right?
Yeah, it's called bank
liquidity support.
Yes.
So they kept pumping money because they received reports. Okay, so they will look at it. This bank. Okay, so let's support our money, the people of this country. The lady who wakes up at 4 a.m. in the morning from Nsawam gets onto a trotro. Giddy, comes to Accra, carry load under the scorching sun, goes to buy something and contributes something little to the public purse, hoping that Ghana would deliver its promise, that we are capable of managing our own affairs in a way that returns benefits for we, the citizens of this country. You sat there, watched these individuals. They messed up the economy of this country, and nothing happened to anybody at the central bank. We only closed down a number of banks, consolidated some, and then we were told that 20 billion Ghana cedis of our money was going to be spent to clean up the system. People lost jobs. People went home. Some people till today cannot pay for their medical bills. They are begging left, right, and center just to take care of themselves. You sat there. You said you have cleaned up the system. Fast forward last year. The same people in charge, the same people at the central bank, they were watching. The finance minister, they were flying in and out. Oh, we have gone to Eurobond, something. They came and did Wache party, or was it Kinky party?
It was both. It was Wache
and Kinky. We saw the photographs. People were celebrating at the Ministry of Finance. Oh, Ghana has recorded, massive win internationally. This is evidence that the market has confidence in Ghana.
Yes.
years on, here we are. You and I, we have been struggling for the past 20-something years as journalists, earning very meager sums. And we try, through the toil that we have gone through, to contribute something small in investment instruments. This government,
haircut.
we told the people of this country that yet is a castle. By a comedy.
There'll be no haircut.
Ghana, these things were said in this country.
Yes.
That we are the saviors.
I tell you.
Will come and deliver this country.
Charlie.
Bernard, when I wanted to vote so badly, because I thought that what was happening under this guy, the former
was bad.
Was a shambles.
Charlie.
There was a need to correct it. When we went to the Electoral Commission, our names were messed up. I came on radio, I on Eyewitness News. I took on the Electoral Commission, insisted that they needed to correct it. They wanted to put us on the same day that voting was going to happen, so that we will not, police the process. We said, but it will not happen.
We vote on special voting.
We fought it until we were given the power of the vote.
Yes.
And we voted. Now, you come to government on the back of all of these fantastic promises you made.
Yeah.
See where you have sent the economy. You have robbed us of our money.
Yeah.
And now, the little investments that are sitting in coffers somewhere for our future. Bernard, you and I, you don't know what will happen to I don't know what will happen to you tomorrow, what will happen to me tomorrow. On a fine evening, I closed on Eyewitness News. I told my people that, good people of Ghana, God willing, same time tomorrow, I'll be back here with another exciting edition of Eyewitness News. I was on my way home. I had an accident.
Car came to whack your back.
I was crippled almost for a whole year.
2 years.
Not many people know that.
Yeah.
People sit in their houses, then they talk anyhow by heart. Oh, he's got an appointment. That's why we can't hear him. I was nursing a crippling injury. Yeah. And throughout my years in the UK, I had to work on that.
Yes.
So the good people of this country have made various sacrifices, and people have made sacrifices far greater than I have made. And you sit at the central bank in the face of all the laws that you have fortifying your independence. All you do is to acquiesce to everything the central bank says.
The finance ministry.
That's right. The finance ministry says we must do. And you think that you need to continue your mandate there? No, Bernard, what am I asking for? I think that first of all, there has got to be a forensic audit into how come we came to make so much losses in excess of 60 billion Ghana cedis. We use, as you said, about half or less than half of that to clean up the financial system. People lost their banking licenses as a result of that. And Bernard, let me move forward. Look, if you look quickly at some of the...
So my question is, I'm saying, so is Parliament the place to go?
I said first, there should be forensic audit.
By who?
Forensic audit, there are institutions that can say, of course, Parliament can also get involved, contract experts to do it. If you go to a publication that is on Ghana Web, for instance, we are told that the central bank spends quite a lot of money maintaining vehicles. For instance, the annual report of the bank tells us that 131,586 Ghana cedis was spent just to maintain vehicles as of December 2022. I mean, what kind of vehicles are they driving? How many vehicles are they driving in this country? Or how many bullion vans are they using to move money around the country as to lead us to pay 131,586 Ghana cedis just to get the vehicles at the Bank of Ghana?
Not bought, just maintained.
Maintain them. Maintenance.
They live in Frejabanos area.
Maintenance. 131 million Ghana cedis, Bernard.
Wow.
That's a lot of money for one fiscal year, if the report is to be believed.
Serious.
And then also that the cost of personnel at the central bank, 1.6 billion Ghana cedis. That's what we are talking about.
Wow.
And then if you go further down, we are told that what they spent for foreign and domestic travel, the central bank spent 97.4 million Ghana cedis. What plane are they flying?
In 1 year.
What plane are they flying in this country?
97 million.
97 million on foreign travel. Now, if you break that down, right, the question you should be asking is who are traveling? On what kind of ticket are they traveling on? And what businesses are they going to do?
Where are they going?
So that you spend all of this money to travel outside the country with the hope that you will return positive returns for the good people of this country who are footing this bill.
Serious.
And yet, the economy is still in the mess we see. You spent over, 131 million Ghana cedis on vehicles. And many of these vehicles would include the comfortable ones that the bosses there drive. And yet, our economy is in this mess. The worker who has struggled for the past 60 years or so to earn a living at the end of the day, when he retires, he wants to go to Adafiano and sit by the seaside
and enjoy.
At the end of the month, he wants to go to ADB in Adafiano, collect something small as pension. You are saying now that you want to target his pension. Bernard, in which country should you allow this level of insensitivity to continue without challenging it? And you had the temerity to go back to Parliament and to inform them that, we are going, No, Bernard, we cannot allow this to continue.
Right.
There has got to be accountability. The Parliament would have to lead the way, and there must be forensic audits conducted as to how come these losses have been recorded.